Okay, so today we're going to talk about the law of sines. Law of sines is useful for solving triangles. Solving triangles means we're going to be solving for sides and angles that we're missing inside this, given certain sides and angles. So law of sines is listed right here. It's these three fractions that are equal to each other. Now, A, B, and C refer to sides and angles inside our triangle. So we've got our picture here. And key thing to remember with this, it doesn't matter which angle or side you pick as A, B, and C. It just matters that side A is opposite angle A. Side B is opposite angle B. Side C is the opposite side from angle C. And in this setup, the big letters are the angles and the small letters are the sides. And when you go to use this, you're never going to use all three of these fractions together. You're always going to make this as just two fractions that are equal, and then we'll use our algebra skills to solve for whichever part is missing. So we're going to start off with the length here. So we're going to find the length C. This is what I want to find. Now C is opposite the angle 105, so that's one we're going to use. Now to use the law of sines, we have to know a side and angle opposite combo, meaning we have to have an angle and a side that are opposite each other. We know both parts, and we do. We have 7, and it is opposite the 35 degrees. We have to have one completed fraction to make this work. So we're going to list this out. So we want to find side C, so we're going to put C on the top. So it's C over the sine of 105 degrees, because 105 degrees is the angle that's opposite. And that's going to be equal to the 7, because that's our side, over the sine of 35 degrees. And once we get this set up where it's a proportion, we're going to use cross multiplication and we're going to solve. So C times the sine of 35 degrees is equal to 7 times the sine of 105 degrees. So therefore C is going to be 7 sine of 105 divided by the sine of 35. And this will plug into our calculator. Whatever you're using your calculator right now, whether it be Desmos or your handheld calculator, you need to make sure your mode is in degrees. So 7 sine 105. Then we're going to divide that by the sine of 35. And we get, let's say we'll round to one place, 11.8. So that means that side should be about 11.8. Now, we can also solve for angles in this, and that'll lead us into what we'll talk about tomorrow, which is we can run into some issues when we talk about these angles. But it's still, for this one, it still starts the same way. So we want to find the measure of angle B. Now, we need to know a side and angle opposite each other. So we know side 5.5, and it's opposite of angle 63. Angle B is down here, and it's opposite the side 4.7. So we can set up our ratio. So this is 4.7 over the sine of B equals 5.5 over the sine of 63. And even though we're solving for an angle here, we're still going to do the same way. We're going to cross multiply and get rid of the fractions. So it's 5.5 times the sine of B equals 4.7 times the sine of 63. And we're going to divide now. Now, instead of dividing by the sine like we did last time, the B is trapped in here. So we need to move the 5.5. So we're going to divide by 5.5 first. So the sine of B is 4.7 sine of 63 degrees. And that's divided by 5.5. Now to get this sine to the other side, remember we've got to use inverse sine to do that. So to move that algebraically to the other side, it turns into the inverse sine, which essentially is just another button on our calculator, guys. But we need to do this calculation inside the parentheses first, find that number, and then take the inverse sine of it. And I don't want to round anything, so I'm going to use the answer function of the calculator. So I'm going to go 4.7 sine of 63. I'm going to divide that by 5.5. and I get this 0.76 number, but I'm not going to round that. I'm going to go second sine, second answer, and now I'll round. I got 49.588, but I'm going to round that to one place and say that this is equal to about 49.6 degrees. There we go. So we've solved an angle and a side. Reach out to me. Let me know if you need some help. Talk to you guys later.